So I meet your office. I come in. I say, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you, Mr. Dillon. Me and my wife just got married. I'm a comedian. I saved up about $80K. She wants to live. We're having a baby. She wants to live on the island.
Mr. Pop, I'm very glad.
Can I get a loan?
Not only can you get a loan, but let me tell you something.
Yeah.
How much of that $80K are you prepared to spend on the property?
I don't know, Mr. Dillon. I'm a pretty conservative guy. I saved every single dollar from my more recent shows.
How much are you prepared to spend?
Hold on. Let me go into Maurice's brain.
No. Of that $80,000, how much would you like to spend? Are you willing to spend all of it?
I'm willing to spend about 60 or 70 of it.
Mr. Pappas, guess how much of that 80 you're gonna have to spend?
How much?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. You're not gonna spend anything because let me explain something to you. Sit down. The wife is lovely. Would you like a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah. Can
Mr. Pappas.
Can I get pancakes while I'm here?
Yeah, you can get anything. The bricks and sticks of your house.
Yeah.
Appreciate. The frame, the land. They appreciate and value. You know what your money does in your house for you, Mr. Pappas? It does absolutely nothing. You know what the wealthiest people do with real estate, Mr. Pappas? A lot of them finance it. Why? Because your mortgage is your only tax write-off. It is the only write-off. It is your only fucking weapon against the federal government. The larger the loan you take, the better it is for you financially. And you take that $80,000 and I'm not wrong, by the way, and you put, well, I'm a little, and you put it in tax-exempt securities like Roth IRAs. Mr. Pappas, you maximize the amount of tax-exempt retirement accounts that you put your money in with that $80,000. You make it work for you. You do not sink it into a house. Yes or yes? So the reality is this. We're taking the biggest loan possible. Debt, Mr. Pappas, will set you free. Now sign this piece of paper for Christ. And at that point, you and your wife are crying.
Yeah.
And then we sign papers, and you go die.
But how do you get the loan from the bank? They're
Well,
giving them away.
back in the day, what are we doing? We're talking about now or back in the day?
No, back in the day.
Yeah,
Back in the day, I go to the bank. I said, Kelly, we got one. And Kelly, I said, Mr. Pappas and his wife Brittany's from Long Island. They want to go buy a piece of marble hunk of shit. And Kelly has got Coke running down her nose from last night. She's got a fucking double tall non-fat latte from Starbucks, non-fat. She's not kidding anyone. And she nails it down and she says, she makes all the paperwork look like it should look. And then my little shitty bank, which was called Franklin First or New World Mortgage or the Mortgage Zone or the Funding Hut or whatever it is, we send our paper to a fucking even bigger and as similarly shitty bank like a Long Beach Mortgage or a New Century Mortgage or an Argent. And those banks were doing backdoor deals with JP Morgan, Citigroup. So those banks were underwriting the paper to the middle grade banks that were lending money to the dirtbag brokerage operating out of a van places that I worked. Okay?
Right.
So when this all, you ever played a game of hot potato?
Yeah, it's an orgy, yeah.
So when everything goes wrong,
You pass it around.
we're passing it around.
Yeah.
And then by the time you sign your mortgage, by the time you get your first bill, because the other benefit, Mr. Pop, is you don't pay for 2 months.
Right.
For 2 months, you don't pay.
But
That's
are you
too-
sure I'm going to be able to afford this mortgage? My stand-up comedy career is up and down.
Mr. Pappas, I have watched your stuff. I think you're a genius.
Thank you.
And I think you're an absolute genius. And I will tell you this right now. All you have to worry about right now is what are you going to do with those?
I'm just a little worried. I'm not past the cellar. Am I going to have a future?
You're going to have a cellar in the home that we put you in. All you have to worry about, Mr. Pop, is what are you going to do with those 2 free months? Because we're rolling it into the mortgage. You've got 60 days. I would take a little vacation with this lovely lady.
Are you serious?
2
Because I was concerned I even had enough for the mortgage before this.
2 free months.
What?
Yeah, that's
But
right.
you're saying free. Am I going to have to pay at some point for this down the line?
We're rolling it into the mortgage, which again, we talked about, it just increases your tax deduction. If you could, Mr. Pappas, you'd take a loan every day.
Honey, do you think, I mean,
Every day you would take a loan because the federal government is coming to take your hard-earned money. I am telling you, your ability to fight them is contingent on how big this mortgage is. Take all your credit card debt, all your car loans, everything, student loans, roll it into this, refinance it. Let's take $100,000, $200,000. Let's do it. Let's make it big. And let's do it once and do it right. That's a great line. That's a line one of our guys had. Let's do it once and do it right. And then he'd call them back 8 months later, and they'd go, you said we were going to do it once and do it right. He goes, let's do it twice and do it better. But that's what we need. That's the only way the economy's get. Like, you guys can laugh at that. That's the only way the economy is going to get.
On a bubble. On a
Retards
need criminals back.
have to sell things to other retards.
But everything you explained, none of that is criminal at all. It's just
Well,
Well,
I mean,
I
come
wouldn't
on.
go so far as to
let's-
say that. Yeah.